I have three particular questions. The first relates to education, picking up on what Christian was saying. It would be interesting if you could elaborate for us the role of the higher education institutions in KIC activities, in particular in the strategic innovation agenda, which is the piece that I'm looking at. There's a more than doubling of ambition for involvement of higher education institutions, of which 450, there's a small line that says they will come from new action on education. And it would be very interesting to have more information about what these few words mean. There is a concern that I've had expressed to me that we are going to be trying to interfere with education systems in member states. And as Christian's saying, they may not take to that lightly. I'd also like to ask whether, given the increase in budget, whether expanding, although I love the idea of education institutions being involved, obviously this is something we support. We are cult after all, but is 750 perhaps slightly over ambitious? And mostly, what is it that is going to change? What are you planning for the member states? Coming on to the cultural and creative industries KIC, this is a great idea. I will be suggesting some changes to the wording. I don't think it's tight enough at the moment. And also, we are talking about a technological institute here, not a theatre institute. So I think we will need to firm up that language. However, it's a very constructive idea. Creative industries in the UK bring in 10 times the revenue of fishing. It is a very important sector of industry, and I think there is a lot of potential for us to spread it out or spread that success out to other member states. However, having two KICs being proposed at the same time to come on stream 2 or 3 years apart, is that actually sustainable? If we look at the first KICs, the three that have been through the full 14-year cycle, only one of them is currently financially sustainable according to the new model. The others are successful in their own ways. I'm not trying to decry the actions of the EIT Digital and the EIT Climate. They're both doing, as far as I understand it, very good work. But they are not financially sustainable. They have zero revenues. They have other investments. But can we really be proposing the CCI KIC in 2022 and then another in 2025? That feels like an awful lot of money before we've actually worked out the financial model. Would you agree that we should postpone the second new KIC for a few years yet? And then finally, and I'm sorry, but I do come from the UK. There is always the elephant in the room, the elephant that is called Brexit, of course. The Climate KIC has a key national centre in London, and understanding, as Martin Kemp has declared, the EIT director, he has said it's unlikely that the EIT will be able to expand much beyond the borders of the EU, which is quite understandable. What will happen to the partner institutions and companies in the UK? How will they be affected by Brexit? Thank you.
Frau Melbarde als Shadow Rapporteur.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you very much, rapporteurs, for your insights. Indeed, the idea of European Institute of Innovation and Technology is a noble one, and the development of knowledge and innovation communities which bring together higher education institutions, research organizations, industry and other stakeholders in order to stimulate innovation research, create new products, solutions for market, new startups is a right way forward. I think it is important to understand that individual states are better served to succeed if the whole region is innovative and ahead of the game, not just merely catching up. And I think we have to be very careful when we speak or refer to the competition among countries, I think it's very important to invest in partnership among countries. The EU's ability to innovate and indeed to successfully capitalize on our innovations is nowadays not merely an option but necessity. Understanding this, EIT's work must continue, and in general I support the direction taken. I believe the revision package on EIT proposed by the Commission has come at the right time. Representing a culture field myself, I much welcome that the strategic innovation agenda identifies culture and creative industries as priority field for a new KSC with a call to be launched in 2021. I understand, however, that there is a noticeable opposition consisting of a number of member states in the Council that are against such KIC's very existence, or at the least its timely start in 2 years. Furthermore, I would also like to express my concerns about the geographical balance, since I myself come from a comparatively small country from Central Eastern Europe. Co-location centers are primarily based in the EU 15 member states. I also take issue with the proposed regional innovation schemes eligible countries list. Basing it on the European Innovation Scoreboard's modest and moderate innovators groups means making the eligibility list too broad. As you know, it includes not only Eastern EU and small member states, but among others, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Greece. That means that around 40% of the EU's researchers, innovators, and technology workers come from those eligible countries. So under a perfect scenario, we could argue for a much larger budget for the institute, but understanding the political realities, modest increase would already be access. In addition to that, I believe we should narrow the eligibility list, preferably basing it on the Horizons Europe's widening list. Nevertheless, as already mentioned, I'm inspired by the Institute's work and hopeful about its future. In my capacity as a shadow rapporteur, I look forward to constructive work ahead.